Welcome to Housing After 60. I am Charles Odell. On this site, we analyze the math and the reality of senior housing to find your best options. Let's get started.
Welcome to another deep dive from Housing After 60. Today we are looking at the true cost of senior living, and this is all based on our latest research at housingafter60.com. And believe me, what we found, it's pretty eye-opening.
Yeah, that quote really hits the nail on the head. You know, most people just look at that glossy brochure price, but the real cost, the one that can actually drain your nest egg, it's kind of hidden in the structure of the whole deal.
Okay, so let's dive right in. We've structured this whole thing to basically arm you with a financial BS detector. So we're going to start with the big misconception, then break down the main cost centers, and we'll finish up with a real actionable plan.
So the first mistake people make, and we see this all the time, is thinking of senior living like you're just renting an apartment. But oh boy, it is a completely different financial animal, isn't it?
Exactly. I mean, the marketing is brilliant, right? They focus on the pools and the dining, but from a financial perspective, you're not really a tenant. You're more like a line item on their balance sheet. They're selling a service, and the costs are designed to escalate.
Okay, let's talk about that first huge hurdle, the massive upfront payment they ask for.
Yeah, you really should think of it as like prepaid rent, but with a side of risk. You're essentially giving the facility this huge interest-free loan. And the key thing here is you don't own the unit.
And the numbers here, they're just staggering. They could range from tens of thousands of dollars to, well over $500,000. And please don't fall for the refundable marketing. A lot of these contracts have what's called a resale requirement. That means your family doesn't see a dime of that money until your exact unit is sold to someone else. Okay, so after that huge entrance fee, you've got the monthly bill. And you call this the printer ink model. So what does that even mean?
Well, it means the base monthly fee, which, we call an HOA on steroids, is really just the beginning. The real profit margin for the facility, that comes from all the tiered care services you'll eventually need. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the markup. I mean, look at that, a 320% markup on medication management. That's just astounding.
Yeah, and that's driven by a pretty severe labor shortage. So what happens is facilities pay these huge premiums for agency nurses, and then they pass that cost, plus a margin, directly to the residents. And hey, if you want the full technical breakdown, you should definitely check out the post on housingafter60.com.
This all comes down to the contract. And you said before, if you don't know the contract type, you probably shouldn't be signing anything, right?
And this illustrates the two extremes just brilliantly. A Type A contract, think of that as an insurance policy against rising costs, whereas a Type C contract, well, that's a pure gamble on your future health and, frankly, the cost of labor.
So the crucial point here is that a lower upfront cost almost always equals a higher long-term risk to your finances.
So after all these warnings, here's the good news. You can protect yourself with due diligence. This isn't about, vibes. It's about spreadsheets.
Let's move on and see how this builds a defense. These 5 steps, and they're all detailed on the Housing After 60 website, they really shift the power back to you.
Ultimately, you just have to stress test your own plan against the long-term reality. The safest move? Well, it's the one you can afford at age 95, not just the one that looks good at 75. Thanks for watching. For more guides and the full article on this topic, head over to housingafter60.com. And don't forget to check the links in the description below.
Your peace and enjoyment in retirement depends on the right housing strategy. Visit housingafter60.com for our full analysis and cost transparency guides. I will see you in the next video.